Let me first introduce myself. I am Rajendra Prabhu. I am a senior journalist, 50 years in the profession, and worked as in the leading newspapers of the country. I was born a Hindu Brahmin and accepted the faith many decades later. Well, if I have to give you a very brief account of how I come to the faith, I shall tell you that though I married a Christian lady, neither she nor afterwards anybody asked me to be converted. It all came by myself, though I was rather an agnostic to begin with. One day I was going to Rome on a journalistic assignment, and in front of me was a person whom I never knew and never seen. He carried two suitcases, heavy suitcases, and when he went to the counter, he was told that he is overweight and he has to pay for it. He was almost 80 kilos. No, not 80, I think about 45-60 kilos. And he had to pay over that 20 kilo allowed me. And he said, I don't have money. Then they said, okay, take back your suitcase. We can allow only a few kilograms, not this much. So he was perplexed and didn't know what to do. Suddenly it occurred to me from nowhere, as I thought, well, I have nothing in my hand except a small suitcase. Well, if we together weigh it, then his problem will be solved. Beside myself, I should never have done it, because I know as a journalist that many people carry many things, and to put them together was walking into their trap. But somehow that moment I was beside myself and I allowed that to happen. As soon as it was over and he was given the boarding card along with me, it occurred to me that what have I done? This man he says that he is a priest, but I don't know whether he is a priest or not. He is not in the cassock, and he carries a suitcase. He says it's all books. It may not be books, it may be something else, in which case I also will be caught, and I am representing a big newspaper in the country. And it will be a very huge thing against me, against the newspaper, and it will become a big scandal. So I didn't allow him to go. I just caught hold of him and asked him several questions. After a lot of discussions, and it appeared to me, because he first went to the bank to get those $8 at those times. Only $8 were allowed for a journey. So for that $8 he went there at the bank, and he presented at the bank a huge number of coins, a huge bag of coins. And those bank people said, what is this nonsense? Haven't you got notes? And he said that, no sir, I have only these coins. I come from a poor parish. And when those people he said it is in Meghalaya. When those people said that, when my parishioners came to know that I am going to Rome for study, they gave 4 annas, 8 annas, something like even 2 annas, something like that. And that is what I have brought. So it was one evidence that he really was a priest, and he really is a priest, and that he comes from a poor parish. But that was not convincing for me. After he got his money, I went to the bank people did not count the money, coins. They simply gave him $8. And I asked him, how did you come from where did you come? He said, I have come from Guwahati by air. I said, look, when you come by air, Didn't you know that you have overweight by your 2 suitcases together? He said, well, my bishop was with me, and he talked to the Indian Airlines people, and they allowed because of the bishop's intervention. It immediately I asked him, didn't you know that in Delhi there will be no bishop for you? He said, I said the same thing to the bishop, and the bishop said, God will send somebody to help you. That gave me a that day onwards, I felt that, look, it seems that God wants me to do His job like this, helping somebody who is in distress. That made me little more considerate and wanting to know what God is. And that way, in London, I got a book called Mere Christianity. That's by C.L. Lewis, who was once upon a time atheist and who had turned a Christian much later. It is from there I started reading books and the Gospels, which I had read earlier but did not find anything great in it. Today, that day onwards, I found new meanings in those Gospels. Same Gospel which I had read, I found new more. That's how I got changed and got to know God, Jesus, and became His follower willingly, completely, without anybody's prompting me to do that or anybody asking me to do that. I am giving you this background in order to point out that these days conversion is a matter of controversy. I find it rather amusing that the Home Minister of the country, Rajendra Prabhu, says that it is all right if you do service, but don't do conversions. He doesn't understand that nobody does conversion. He converts himself because he finds something that is different, that is acceptable, that is unique, and that he must follow that. Then he converts himself. If you see the story of several people who have got converted, whether it is C.S. Lewis, Aldous Huxley, or anyone else, they were not poor people. They were all intellectuals of the highest order. Or just take Malcolm Muggeridge. Malcolm Muggeridge was a great journalist. He got converted. Earlier he was not a Christian. He was an atheist. Then he got converted into Christianity, particularly Catholic Church, after seeing my Mother Teresa in action. So it is not that anybody is converting anybody else. It is that one converts himself because he believes his faith that Jesus is God come to lead mankind into a holy people. You can also another thing about this conversion topic, which has become controversial now, and people like Home Minister of the country, he should have read the history, because after all the Ashoka Chakra is the signal, is the symbol of the government of which he is the Home Minister. Many people who challenge conversion, who decry conversion, fail to remember that conversion is a totally Indian phenomenon. And the first time the conversion took place was in 500 BC, 500 years before Christ. And the person who converted people was the Buddha, Gautama Buddha. He converted the Hindus into his followers, and whatever these people may say, some of the right-wing Hindutva people say, Buddha was a different person, and the religion he preached was also quite different from Hinduism. It is not a continuation of Hinduism in any manner. Even the language that he used, Pali, is different from Sanskrit, the language of the Aryan Hindus. So after that, at the royal level itself, Ashoka, he converted himself into a Buddhist. And he not only converted himself, he changed the entire entire structure of the empire. It was totally a different culture that we brought in. And subsequently also, so many people came, were sent by Ashoka to various Southeast Asian countries, including Ceylon. Sri Lanka, the first Buddhists came to Sri Lanka from Ashoka around 300 BC. And like that, then from there they spread to other countries, Thailand, Burma, present day Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos. Some of these countries I have myself visited, and all of them will value the tradition of Buddhism they have got. All were converted, many from the animism to Buddhism. So the conversion was started from India. Then from India it spread to Tibet, and from Tibet to China, and from China to South Korea. Almost majority of people in Korea are Buddhists. Majority of people in Japan are Buddhists. So the conversion was there. Conversion is a gift of India to the world. The present India and the Indian Constitution, which gives equal rights to everyone, whether he is of a particular religion or does not belong to any religion, all comes to the same. That is in any way disturbed, then this country will fall to pieces. This is quite clear, that it is only secularism, that total attitude of leaving religion to one's own personal choice without any side type of interference from the state. Unless that is preserved, this India will not remain one united country. Most people get converted because they have a faith in a particular religion. It is not that their conversion takes place only from one religion from Hinduism to another religion. There is the other way conversions also. It is a matter of choice. When the Constituent Assembly was discussing the Constitution, the particular clause which says the right to preach, practice, and the right to practice and propagate any religion is guaranteed in the Constitution. When that clause was being discussed, some people, very few people, of course, in the Constituent Assembly objected to the word propagate. They said, no, if you put that word propagate, then all these Christian missionaries will come and propagate their religion. They should not be allowed to propagate their religion. But leading lights of the independence movement, leading Hindus like K.M. Munshi, Alladi Krishnaswamy and others, of course Jawaharlal Nehru, they all said, no, we know the Christians, we know their schools, we know their hospitals. They are not conversion areas. So the word propagate was retained in the Constitution. So it is not only the right to practice, but to propagate. your religion is there. What do you mean by propagate? That means I can say that my religion is best. I have every right to say that. You can accept it, you need not accept it. It's up to you. So there is no question of conversion being forceful, conversion being imposed on anybody. How long can you impose it? How long can you make it? How long can a person remain a convert, a new religion, which is forced upon him, which has been thrown into his into him? He cannot remain. After a few days or those few years, he will go back. So there is such a conversion, if at all it takes place, it has got no meaning at all. It is no conversion at all. Forceful conversion is not. And we must go back to Christianity in this matter. You remember that for 300 years after Christ, Christianity was a religion banned in the whole of the Roman Empire. Banned. Anybody who calls himself Christian could be even killed, executed. There are records of several hundred people, several thousands who were similarly executed. And before their execution, they were given the choice to renounce Christianity. But they refused. Even when they were thrown to the hungry, preying animals like lions, they refused. In fact, Emperor Nero, who watched those Christians being thrown to the lions, was surprised when he saw those Christians not being afraid. They were standing there and praying and singing the hymns. And he asked his courtiers, "What is this? Why are they singing?" They said, "These people are singing their religious songs." He said, "What nonsense," he said. And he was surprised that these people are not afraid at all to die. So there is no compulsion in gun. By compulsion, nobody can be changed.